Guys, Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. This is my family's favorite breakfast, and we're never going back to regular cereal. Our favorite combo is to mix the cocoa with the peanut butter flavors to make the ultimate peanut butter cup collaboration with 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. This high-quality cereal is fueling reimagined. Start your new year off right with Magic Spoon. Use my code Chael for $5 off your very own variety box and choose from Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, and maple waffle, plus other awesome flavors, including blueberry muffin and cinnamon roll. Magic Spoon is so confident in this product, they back it with a 100% happiness guarantee, which means if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Click on the link below. Use the code Chael to save $5 off your order today. Also, for my Canadian and British fans, Magic Spoon now ships to Canada and the UK. Biggest news out of last week, and it was a bit of a surprise, in all fairness, bit of a surprise. It went to the PFL. I don't know if there's been a week where PFL has won the news, and I mean that as a compliment, but I'll share for you Jake Paul into MMA, his personal involvement on the business side of the pay-per-view arm of the PFL. Now, this was the biggest news, but I wasn't satisfied as a viewer. I wasn't satisfied that I knew everything. I'll give you an example. Very commonly would be somebody to come and make an announcement like this in conjunction with an opponent and a date. This would be the debut, generally. But Paul has done a number of press conferences where he leaves that out, purposely. We just need a little more time to go by to look back and see which approach was better. I don't offer you an opinion right now. I just remember the day that he announced Madison Square Garden, right? When it was going to be Will Fury, which ended up being Bottom Ramen, we weren't told any of that when tickets were already on sale, when the announcement was already made. I'm just reminding you guys. So when Jay comes out and he just talks about this is what I'm going to do, there was something that was interesting, which could even be chalked up to we misspoke, which was, hey, I'm challenging Nate Diaz to fight deal. Made that very clear. We're going to box first. Now, that was the part where I really wish they would have been at a press conference and we could have had some follow-up. I don't know that Jake is married to that idea as much as potentially just floating the idea. But it was still the part that left me in the lurch. Because if they're going to box first, then it feels like we just did an announcement for the PFL that isn't going to happen. As a matter of fact, the separation between the boxing and MMA was said to be 6 months, and the MMA nor the boxing has a date set. So if we were to take this information, we're taking it real literal, right? Perhaps I should not be. But I am sharing with you that if I take it literal, we've got Jake Paul is going to box first. His next thing he does is going to be boxing. Whether it's against Nate Diaz or not, it's going to be boxing, which isn't announced. So we have X amount of time just to get us to the boxing date. Then, whether it's Nate Diaz or not, there's going to be 6 months until the MMA date. So the MMA date being 6 months separated from the boxing date, and the boxing date not even be set in front of us yet. I mean, I'm just asking you guys, is that what you want? Because Jake will listen to you. He'll do it your way. Do you want to see him do MMA next? Do you want to see him do boxing next? If you see him do boxing next, are you okay with the idea that we're going to continue on the path of an older guy with the caveat that we will then go over it and do it that older guy's way, which is MMA? It works for me. Quite frankly, that works for me. And I'm not sure that I need to see all of those steps. I heard the plan. I heard the way it was laid out, and I thought it flowed really well. I thought it got a whole bunch of headlines. Bob's your uncle. We don't actually have to do that. We could do something close, or moreover, we could just have already started that. Moreover, we could bring in Ben Askren, Tyron Woodley, or Anderson Silva. Already have done the boxing part, go right into the MMA part, and we're going to do that over the PFL. For me, it really does work. I get it. And I've personally kind of been curious in that. And I think it's very hard. I mean, I would just tell you from a business perspective, and I'm not a prude. It'd be very hard for me to do a 2-fight deal with 2 different rules with one guy. If the first one doesn't work, for whatever reason, he's not a good partner. It's a bad decision to start with, and the fans didn't get behind it. For whatever reason, if it doesn't work and now I'm locked in and I got to go another 6 months with this same, right? It's one of those tough spots where how do I pivot? How do I move if this is all part of the story? And if it's all part of the story, can I get the audience to tune in? I mean, it's tough, right? If I told you guys something really interesting, something that you want to see, but I take out of it once in a lifetime opportunity. I take it out right from Jump Street. Hey, here's what I'm doing. But I'm going to take your compulsion to make sure you see it away. I'm going to take that away by telling you, by the way, there's an opportunity where you can see it again. That's where it starts to be tough for anything. Can you get anybody to go and do anything and watch and really care when it's not the only time they can see it? They can also see it again. I'm asking the question. It's never been done before. I think it's a really good hook, and I think that it's interesting. I'm sharing for you. As far as the press conference went, there was a couple of things that if this would have been interactive, I think we could have cleared up. If I had the opportunity to ask a couple of questions, that would have been a big one. Is the idea of Nate Diaz, are we floating that around? Is it any more than floated around? And moreover, when you say that we're going to box first and then do MMA, does that mean the next time we see Jake Paul, it will be in the boxing ring? See, that's very relevant for me because that is a focus. That's an absolute focus on boxing. But if you're going into a new sport of MMA, you think that you would not want to waste any time. So if it's 3 months till the boxing event, I'm being very generous, right? It hasn't even been announced. Let's just say it's 3 months till the boxing event. Do I want to spend 2 times a day, every single day, working on one element when I know I got a mixed rules fight coming up? Would I want to start right now on the MMA? I mean, it's one of these questions. It's very interesting. How are you going to do it? Which way are you going to do it? Do we have to do the boxing and then the MMA? Does it have to be the same opponent? Are we married to this idea? Is there anything set in stone? Its most valuable promotions have a date in the venue. They haven't announced it yet, but they have it locked in for boxing. They're looking at some kind of opponent. Can the PFL start planning a venue and on sale for a pay-per-view featuring Jake Paul? Not with the information we've been given. We got to tighten this up just a little bit. And when they do tighten it up, when they do bring it to us, I'll be bringing it to you. Because I do think it's a win, even if there's a few question marks out there. It won the week. It won the headlines. It's got my interest. I think it has yours.